Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Bluegrass Home Garden TV.
How you doing, Amber Canoe?
I'm back with one of my faves, Dwayne over at House by JSD.
You know what? You know, you said that. I posted something and I said my fave, and somebody, I was with another fave of mine, and she came back with ugly. So thank you for fave. There's a long story behind that. I'll tell you. It's a good thing. I thought it was a good thing, but it turned into ugly thing.
My day always gets better when I have Dwayne in my presence.
Well, you reached out to me and you said we need to do something for somebody's front door that's late summer.
Maybe they've transitioned from the patriotic type of look and they want to go a little more to summer.
So I started thinking, well, what is better than summer or late summer? And it's the watermelon, right? That's when
I'll have watermelon all year long.
Well, that's when you get the best watermelons, though, right?
That's right.
It's really that. So I started thinking, well, let's make a basket because we've got these fun watermelons in.
So cute.
Isn't that fun? I think
you sent me the picture and I was like, oh my word, I love that.
Okay, so this is what we're going to make. So Vanna, if you will take that away.
I'll take this down.
Yes.
I'm just going to sit it down here for right now.
And those who are our viewers that have seen us in the past, we just take a basket and I'm going to lift the little moss up. There's some styrofoam and there's a spray and foam installation for those who don't know.
And let it set.
And let it set. And don't get it on your hands. You don't have to. It won't kill you, but it makes a mess. So we sprayed in the foam and let it set up for a day or two, really 2 days, and then cover it up, and then we're good to go, right?
All right.
So we got our base.
And when we get back, we'll get started. You'll use your fancy pick maker in the meantime.
Fat Akuba. That's what it's called, Fat Akuba.
All right, stay tuned. We are back with Jimmy Nash of Jimmy Nash Homes over in Serenity. We've been here before, but a lot has changed, Jimmy.
Right. Yeah, we started coming here when it was framed up.
Yeah.
So now we got our finishes, and we're 3 or 4 weeks from move-in right now. So we're kind of going through doing our punch list, marking things up, getting our list for our subcontractors to come in and kind of fine-tune the house right now.
This is an amazing home, and you've actually got several others that are going to be here in this community.
Yeah, we have one under construction. This is a little less than 15,000 square feet. We have another one similar size under construction now, and then 2 in design that will be kind of modern farmhouses.
And one of them actually is going to have a barn dominium.
One, in addition to that main house, we'll have a barn dominium,
That's
pool house.
That's going to be exciting to follow.
It's kind of a modern spin on what a barn would look like.
Yeah.
So. And anybody that's wanting to kind of look at projects, they can call myself or Jim Moore, and we can kind of walk through, schedule some private appointments. So if they see something under construction, and everything we do is going to be pretty much a custom design build, we're more than welcome to meet somebody and take them through it and kind of show them maybe what the price of that home or the amenities, and they can kind of gauge if that's something they're interested in.
Let's start here in the kitchen. That's a very large island.
It's a big island. It's a big kitchen.
Yes.
You know, so even as big as this kitchen is, that island still is a huge island. But you know, this family, when they entertain, they could have 300 or 400 people over. So we'll have a kitchen here, a kitchen in the basement. Basement is made for entertaining, and they had an anniversary here. Although the house wasn't done, we kind of opened it up and had an anniversary for their parents, a 50th anniversary.
Nice.
And they had several hundred people here, and invited us to attend. It was a beautiful night.
Talking about, spaces to entertain, that beautiful pool. This year we've had a really hot summer. It feels like a really dry summer.
Right.
That would be a great place.
Yeah, pools are so popular. Pools, hot tubs. So probably 50% of the homes we do have a pool in it these days.
And the finished basement stuff. I remember, because we've been working together for a long time, how before a lot of people they were waiting to finish the basement. They were waiting to put in pools, but now it seems like that's just the standard for you.
Yeah, it is. And those things always come and go. So, but for the most part, and I think with COVID and stuff, people spend more time at the house. So we're doing 2 offices instead of 1 office, and pools and all that good stuff. So
the question I have for you real quick, people think everything's just so much more expensive right now. Maybe I should wait.
Right. Yeah. They look at lumber and they get fixated on that, and it's a commodity. It goes up and down. But overall, the cost of building a house has gone up considerably, and it will continue to go up. It never goes back down. So 30 years we've been doing it. We've never had a year where prices were less than the year before. So this is just not going to happen. There's 40,000 items in a new home. And, you know, existing homes have gone up a lot as well. So.
Yeah, and that's just not him saying it. People like Dave Ramsey, who obviously teaches you to be very fiscally minded, are pretty much saying now's the time to buy because prices of homes are going to continue to rise. Yeah,
waiting's not the right thing to do.
All right, if they have any questions?
Yeah, J Nash at jimmynashhomes.com or 859-621-8880.
Thanks for keeping it here. Oh, if you could only see the in-between conversations that happen here. He is just going to town.
Well, you said that we had to get this done in 3 segments.
Well, because we're going to show you another late summer design idea.
So what this is all about then is I'm just filling it up with just all the greens.
Like the Batacuba.
The Batacuba, I love it. And this is spring rye or asparagus fern. And this is a type of boxwood. If you notice, this is a lighter color and this bright. I think this looks kind of cheap, truthfully. But when you cut it up and you kind of layer it in there, that really bright chartreuse green is important once I put everything on top of it.
I will say when you're storing this one, be careful because these leaves can get a little...
They bend, don't they?
They bend and then they're hard to get back out. Now you could always take a steamer, if you have a hand steamer or something like that for clothes, and try to steam those out. But like I have learned the hard way, just me personally buying stuff and then using it at home, that you've got to be careful with this one. Not the boxwoods, not this, but this one can get some creases. So just be aware if you're doing any designing with florals, how you're storing them, because it could make them a little difficult to work with later. Or just put the effort in and...
Well, this one's got a really interesting, different, and that's, what is that called? Variegated?
Yeah, variegated.
Thank you, I stumbled on that word. But it's a darker green, and so all these kind of textures, and I always go back to, you start with that base, and you go out and you just cut all kinds of different kinds of greeneries, bright colors and light colors, and that's really what's important to making this thing.
And then got a little bit of fern.
I got a little bit of fern.
We'll keep working on this. We'll take a short break and come back and hopefully wrap this up. We'll see if we can get it done in another clip. So.
Well, if I don't have you make bows, we'll be okay.
He had to get it in. Stay tuned.
Ah, love it.
The WKYT First Alert Weather app, alerting you first to inconvenient weather, tracking storms live, and bringing you hour-by-hour forecasts wherever you are. Download the WKYT First Alert Weather app today.
So we got our greens in here. You know what my favorite friend is? It's the white hydrangea, right? Or hydrangea, but like the white. Hydrangeas fix everything. So I'm going to put me some hydrangea in my basket. Okay, filling it up. And you ever seen the hydrangeas where they're white and maybe they start to turn a little pink or a little blue or a little green? We get some flowers in like that, but most of the time they're a solid color. So I figured out, well, if I can't buy it or if I want to manipulate it, I can do that. So I took this green hydrangea, cut it apart, did my handy dandy pick machine, as people have seen, put a little pick on it, and look at this. If I open that up, hey, look at me, forget it.
Sorry.
See that? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fun?
Oh, that looks great.
Isn't that good? I love that. I love that a lot.
If anybody's seeing my face, I know they're thinking she is concentrating so
hard. She is working on that
bow.
She's getting so nervous about that bow. So let's add a little green down in there. I got to get my watermelon in here. So what I did is it's flat. Oh Lord, Benny Pearl and her price tag. I get that off too. I took one of the stems that I cut loose and I used my pick machine to poke that in there, and that's how I'm going to attach this to my basket. And I don't need a very long stem. Because you're like, how in the world did you get that watermelon in the basket? Well, you can glue it on there, but it's going to come loose for the this hot sun. Look at that. Can you hear that sound even? She's in there. Look at that. And that's not coming down. And these are actually anemones. They look like, people think they're poppies here in the store, but they're anemones. But I chose those because it has that little black face. But look at that. Isn't that kind of fun?
That is good.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect. So I'm going to cut these apart. And I'm just going to stick them in here for right now because we're running out of time. But add one here, and I'm going to move this over. And what did you do? What did you make? You got to tell what you did.
I made loops.
Loops. Didn't have to make a bow, did you?
Yeah, no. We'll put it in there, and then we'll
look,
roll it and everything.
I got it for. I got it ready for you.
We'll roll it and make it do all this fancy stuff.
Pretty it up. But hopefully you all see that this is pretty easy to do, and we got all the stuff here in the store to make this with. But you don't even have to make a bow, do you, Amber? You don't even have to just make loops.
Just loops.
And it looks good. What else you want to tell the world today? Anything
Well,
else?
I like this one too because if you do it with the picks and stuff and don't glue the stuff in, you could easily just pull out the red and black and the watermelon and transition this into more of a fall.
You really can. It's pretty
And
easy.
use this with all the greenery in it kind of as your base.
I didn't even say that, and that's exactly, you there. We've done this too many times.
I'm gonna making lots of money.
We're going to be rich.
All right, we'll be back here in just a few. We'll keep this one up over here to let you see how it finished, and then we'll give you some more ideas. Stay tuned. Art Hubbard is with us of Hubbard Mechanical. Okay, Art. It was crazy, hot, dry. All the ground was cracked.
Yep.
Just from lack of moisture, and now we've had this just overabundance of rain very, very quickly. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of flooding, especially in eastern Kentucky. So
There has been.
this is a good time to get out and assess if we've got some major drainage issues.
Yes, biggest thing, we've talked about it many times. Look at your gutters. Make sure that they're going away from your house. Look for low spots that you have. Hopefully you know where your sewer line comes into your house and your water line comes into your house, because as it gets dry, the ground can kind of shift, and when it gets wet, it can go back. And so it might not snap your sewer lines, but it can create valleys, and it can create like a wave effect, and so you're not going to drain anymore, which unfortunately you still got to dig it up as if it was broken. Same thing with water lines. We've actually seen it sometimes that the ground shifts so much that the water lines get broken too. Or they get kinked and you lose flow. So if you notice that you don't have the flow you used to have, that's a very good indication that you got to check your water lines out.
Yeah, that's a little alarming.
Yeah.
Just to think all of that with just the change of weather can happen.
Yes, very much so.
And unfortunately, it's a lot of the times it's things we don't realize until it's too late.
Yeah, and really for like the sewer lines and the water lines, it's hard to see. You know, you're talking about 30 inches on the ground, so you can't really just go out there and look to see if it's doing good. So it's just stuff to be aware of, and just be, just study your house. And hey, my water flow's a little less than what it used to be. My toilets, they're not flushing like they used to. It seems like they're getting a little higher, or it just seems like it's not normal. Then at that point we can come in, we can assess it and see, hey, here's how we do it before it becomes a major issue.
So on downspouts like this, for instance, this one, even though we have this extender on it, that water is tending to just stay right there.
Yes. What you can do, like at my house, what we have is I took mine and I buried it underground, and I put it out about 10 feet from my house, and I put about a 3-foot diameter pit about 12 inches deep of gravel. And so the downspout goes into the gravel, and the gravel helps it disperse, and it distributes it a little more even, so it's all underground, so it doesn't create those issues.
Now, I'm going to be honest, Art. That sounds like a lot of work for someone like myself, like if I was to do this.
It is, yeah.
So what are my options?
Get a buddy. We can come out, we can do that. You can get some, if you have people that have like landscape, buddies and stuff like that, they can do that. But that's the best ultimate solution for that.
And a lot of people might be thinking, well, like, why are you talking about this? I mean, that doesn't necessarily directly impact you.
It doesn't like you think, but it can, because if water goes into crawl spaces, a lot of stuff is in crawl space that affects us. So we do this to prevent major damage from happening.
All right, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call us at the office at 859-340-4509.
Thanks for keeping it here. We did this. My loops. Doesn't look horrible.
I think it's pretty good.
Today's a win. All right, so moving on.
So the phone call was challenged with, late summer, we need to transition, we're getting rid of this, but we don't want to go full fall,
We don't want to
right?
go breaking out the pumpkins in August.
So
Not
reference
yet.
back to, we're in
watermelon.
August and watermelon. Well, also, you always see these pictures on the interwebs and the families out in the sunflower fields and beautiful pictures, and how lucky are we to be surrounded by that?
Mm-hmm.
So I started channeling, well, sunflowers, you always think of fall, but really for me, I really think it's also August and, mid-August,
Well,
right?
I mean, I had sunflowers that I bought in a pot. They were live, they were but they were out. They were out in June.
That's how I got to that. As I'm starting channeling, what do you see that's around you, and looks like you could go cut these and have it on your kitchen island or your kitchen table or even on your back patio.
I will say this one that you've chosen in this arrangement with the white has a little bit more of a transitional fall to me. Not so. whether you feel like sunflowers are more fall or summer or not, like this one has a different vibe because it's not
That's
the
what
yellow.
I was hoping for, right? That I chose a sunflower, but even I did this ghost color, this white color as opposed to yellow, because that is really quintessential fall for me. And I thought, plus it also is the idea of people, some people just like monochromatic, and I thought this would also be a fun way to say, this is how to get late summer into your house, and it doesn't always have to be color, it can be monochromatic. So that's our concept. Yeah.
We'll work through this one here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Scott is with us of Comfort Master. We are outside. Scott, I bet you're probably sighing a little bit of relief with a little bit of break in the temperature lately.
Yes, we finally got a little reprieve from the heat, but the heat is always good in the air conditioning business, so we do enjoy the temperature swings.
Keeps paying the bills, right?
It does keep paying the bills.
So we're outside right now. We went through that really, really dry spell. People weren't mowing their yards as much because they didn't need to, right? Kill the grass. But now we've had this influx of all this water. Things are just popping up really, really quick. So it's a good time to readdress keeping those outdoor units clean. Like I know this house in particular, literally the yard was mowed right before it rained. And literally the next day it came. And like already we have weeds just shooting up at everything. Why is it important to make sure that we get in here and keep those away from that unit?
The units run the best when they are free and clear. Wind can get through them, air can get through them. That's how they distribute heat. So we always try to keep everything cut back, well away from the base of them. It's even a good idea to put a little rock bed around it so your lawnmower doesn't have to get right up to it.
Yeah.
If you're mowing the grass, you don't ever want to spray grass at the actual unit because it is like a vacuum and it'll hold the grass in there, and it's very difficult to get it out. So your best bet is to always try to keep it free and clear, and it will run as most efficient and effective as possible.
I'm going to try to give people an analogy that I can relate to. Okay, so everybody has a hair dryer. You know, you get that lint in a hair dryer, and all of a sudden you start to smell really bad smells and it's not working very well, and you got to take that off. You got to clean it out. It's kind of similar here, right? It's not going to work very well if it can't breathe.
Correct. Yep. It's just like if you have a fan and you put a piece of paper over part of it, it's not blowing as much air. So you got to have the coils free and clear.
And then trees like this, as we look towards the fall, because some of us are already looking towards the fall because of the brutal heat we've had this summer, these leaves are going to shed, so they could easily go into that unit as well. Yes,
the leaves can easily go in there. Also, a branch could break off and fall down in the fan blade. It could keep the fan blade from spinning. So you kind of want to keep the trees cut back away from the actual unit a little bit. Shade way over top does help a little bit, but it's not worth taking the chance for the leaf. And the sticks going in. So they are made to be out in the sun, so it doesn't hurt them.
I know we've talked about strategically placed trees, and there are some here because the sun literally comes over this house this way. But we also want to be mindful of keeping them trimmed back from the house so we don't run into any other issues, correct?
Correct. Yeah, if your tree grows in, if you get it too close to the gutters, you're making a path for ants to get into the house. You're making it so that the tree could actually push on the gutters. It could actually hurt the house. Okay. All right, well, if people have any questions for you or they need help, maybe they've got some hot spots in those homes right now, how can they get a hold of you all? They can reach us at Comfort Master at 859-255-0728 any time of day, 24 hours a day.
Everyday Kentucky, weekdays at 9 a.m. on WKYT.
Thanks for keeping it here on Bluegrass Home Garden TV. If you are just joining us, we have been spinning this show with Dwayne over House by JSD, giving you all kinds of late summer good pieces that'll, transition you into fall. We started with this adorable door basket with the watermelon, and now we're working on this arrangement.
And so southern is magnolia, right? And we're doing late summer, early fall. Nothing better than some sunflowers and some magnolia, right? And our friend, the hydrangea. Hydrangea, but love that. Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and that's a new variety of magnolia that I've not seen you all use.
And again, I think you said it the best way. It's like the other one that we've sold for years is classics, a little looser, this more structure, a little waxier. Didn't know if I loved this at first, but again, you said it depends on the application, and it's exactly, it depends on what's going in.
It's great because it's giving you a little bit more volume, a little bit more height in areas without going crazy.
I'm just telling you, when I look at that, that looks like you just went and cut it off a tree for me, right? So this magnolia is our greenery, and then our next add-on is our friend the hydrangea, right?
Well, and I'm just sitting here looking at this one. You know, as you get closer to fall and then you feel like, okay, I really can break out some pumpkins, tucking in a couple of white pumpkins into this one would be perfect. Or even, you know, they're making all kinds of pumpkins now that are different hues. So maybe not your traditional orange into this application, I think, but maybe some of those navies. They even have some of the
Wouldn't that be
burgundies,
beautiful?
some of those more
Yeah.
muted colors that would work really well with this.
Well, and this is not the shape. I have some Lime Life hydrangeas in our yard that are cone shaped, but it reminds me of this color. And
It does,
again,
yeah.
you know, they're mostly gone at this point, but there's still a few left in our later in
Oh,
the
my
summer.
mom takes those things, dries them, and puts them in arrangements for the fall.
Love it, love it, love it. So this is really channeling that whole, again, August, mid-August kind of
Yeah, we
vibe
love
for me.
that. We love
What you
it.
cut from your backyard. So you know what this
Now,
is?
what are those?
So this is actually a eucalyptus pod. And so I guess there's different kinds of it, but I thought, what an interesting texture
Yeah.
of that. So I'm going to keep adding to it, and I'm going to put it in our last hydrangea, and then I'll start cutting the sunflowers, and then we'll come back and finish it up.
Finish it all up. Stay tuned. Jimmy McKinney, the skinny, is with us of J&R Construction. We were at this beautiful project they just completed, and Jimmy, I walked in and I loved all the colors, and I almost didn't even see the navy island countertops because I was looking at the bar stools and just kind of sitting back and admiring it. But you know, I'm a big fan of navy.
Yeah, if you're a Kentucky fan, it kind of is not. Well, I mean, I'm wearing Kentucky colors, but navy is, you know, just don't be a
there.
Louisville fan.
We're not even going to talk about that. All right, so let's talk about what was in this space before.
Yeah, so you see in the before pictures, I mean, right here where the bar stools are is where the wall was separating the two spaces. Of course, we see that so often, you know, just houses built back in, you know, 30, 40 years ago, even sometimes 20 years ago, had separated rooms. They wanted to open it up, you know, and just, it opens it up to everything. We flushed a beam in the ceiling, so we recessed that one, so you can't even tell that there was even a wall here. And then we redid all the flooring and throughout the whole house. Nice, natural looking hardwood floor. Of course, the
top?
it is a countertop.
Jimmy, I know it's a countertop.
Quartz, marble look. So, and then we did a tile backsplash, you know, in the cabinets, just all the drawers. So you notice we're doing that a lot now where it's not, you know, the cabinets where you open up and you have to dig down in there and get everything, all these drawers that pull completely out, full extension.
Nice.
So it's nice.
You know, I really love the floors because I have hardwood floors. In some areas, they're a little too dark. They show everything.
Yeah, the client went with a natural look of the floors, so you notice we didn't do any color or any stain, and it kind of pulled it all together. So we've been in, you know, where you can have some natural looking cabinets with some darker floors. Well, they went kind of the opposite, and it just really makes it brighter in here.
Oh yeah, but I am a fan because that way you don't see every little speck of dust when the sun
Yes.
shines through the window.
Yeah, and they have dogs and kids, and you know they live here, so it's, you know, it's there's a lot of things that can be hidden with not having that dark.
I'm just looking through it. I mean, man, look at the cabinet space.
Yeah, I mean before it had about where you're standing in the refrigerator, it kind of had it jutted out with a little peninsula, and then it had a little table over there, but just opened it all up. They've got all that pantry space over there now, and then it just flows so much better.
And then all the space here.
Storage in the island, yes.
So how long does a project take right now? Because we know there's some time delays on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
when it
well,
comes
once
to
you get
remodeling
to the
right
point, once you're done with design and you get into production, typically a kitchen of this size, you're in the 3-month, can get into the 4th month range. So about 3.
now. Yeah, that's not bad at all. But you have to have a plan.
Right.
So
And then we take you through that process and we plan it all out, the schedule. We tie you into our online system where the client sees all the access to the schedule, selections, financials, communication, all those things. So we kind of lead you through that design process, then through the production process. And then, but on the front end, you're probably going to spend maybe 4 or 5 months design planning, and then half of that time in construction. So we usually spend more time planning, design, getting all the decisions made and everything before we start. So,
but that makes the building process a whole lot easier.
it does, but it's also, there's an emotional roller coaster through this too. You know, when you're living here and there's drywall dust, and it can weigh on you. So there's usually about halfway through, you know, we're sending you some dinner tickets or movie tickets to go out
to get out and get away and just breathe a little bit.
But there is an emotional roller coaster as a homeowner that you go through because you're living in the space, and especially the kitchen being kind of the heart of the home, and then when you've got a temporary kitchen somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that's something we don't really talk about a whole lot.
Yeah.
Great point. All right, if they have questions for you, if they want to maybe get started on that design process.
Yeah, give us a call at the office, 859-225-0162, or go to jrcsi.com.
Well, we are almost out of time, but Dwayne is finishing this one up. And one thing that I noticed is so many of the dole bowls. Every time I get ready to say that.
Dole bowl. Why are you struggling on that one?
Every time I get ready to say that, I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Dole
so I'm like,
bowl.
dole bowls.
Dole bowl.
Anyway, our lighter color of wood, I like the fact that this one is darker because I do feel like it kind of just works with all this, and it works really, really well with these sunflowers, I feel like. But it plays into
I may not say it, but every little detail, and it's like it's bringing out that darker center to me, so you picked up on it. I didn't even say it, but you pick up on those little details. That's important
I feel like this one just wouldn't be quite as fabulous if it was the lighter colored wood. Dole bowl. I'm always going to like pause when I say that because it just...
So everything in this one's really, really tight, and I've cut the hydrangeas really short, and I've cut the sunflowers really short. So I've added this last little texture of these eucalyptus pods. But I want this to kind of loosen it up and kind of spill out. But again, it's all monochromatic.
Love that.
But I thought that's kind of a little unusual twist on everything.
I want you to notice there's no bow to make. Just saying.
Look, I'm not beating up on you today. The one that you made behind you, I threw it at you, and it was kind of just a setting you up for failure, but you did pretty good, so I can't pick up on I can't pick on you since you got it right. So
I'm sure when I look back and I see the photo, like the video, I'm gonna be like, oh, my face tells exactly.
Yeah,
what's
I
going
don't
through
think
my
you were
head,
too happy with what I did to you, but you made it work.
All good.
Anyway.
All good. So they can purchase a lot of this stuff online
It's
and
all
make their
online.
own.
Yep.
Do you have pre-made arrangements like this online as well?
Some, yes. More baskets do in arrangements because that's what sells better.
Probably easier to ship
but they
too.
do put some in shipping, exactly. They do put some up, but it's usually smaller ones. But again, you don't know this, but we were taping a segment a number of months ago, and whatever I was working on, right? But there was something behind me, and the lady was from London, I believe, and she focused in on what was behind her and took a picture of the TV and texted it to one of the girls, and she said, "I don't want that thing, I want that thing." That's a true story.
Well, we've got this behind us right now.
Yeah.
This one.
Well, that was when in the workroom. So I was like, you never know what how you're going to inspire somebody.
This hopefully just gives you a little bit of inspiration. We don't have to change every arrangement every year, but if you don't even have an arrangement, hopefully it inspires you to maybe do something.
Yeah, I need some money, people now. Come buy something once in a while. Yeah.
House by JSD.
Housebyjsd.com. Done, honey. We had fun. Look at that.